Well, as always, we've got Steve Fung in with us, and the world of technology. Within the world of technology, there's business technology, and we're not just talking about the corporate environment. We're talking about technical. We're even going to look at using the business of technology in vocational areas as well. Steve Fung, good morning to you.
Good morning. Hi.
Business technology. Let's break it down. Let's start with what we already know. The actual corporate environment. How are we using some of our basic technology, or how are we underusing it? Because sometimes we underutilize what we do have.
Well, as basic as the song, one of the most important technologies for any business, be it small, be it corporate, or even the entrepreneur, is the internet. You always want to have the internet available at your business location for usages in other forms of technology. We move on to things like social media. If your business may have a website, you may have a blog. So you want to have access to those very basic fundamentals if you're talking technology off the bat.
Basic. And when we go into internet usage and all of those kind of things within a corporate environment, what are some of the things that we should look out for? What are some of the limitations that we might have? Because after all, every business is different. Let's take a media house, for example. The internet is a major tool within any media house. Yeah. What are some of the aids that we can have to make the actual searching for information and gathering information a lot easier or quicker?
Well, if I were a media host, I'd be more interested in putting information out there. But in terms of searching and gathering information, you could just make sure internet speed is up to your latest standards. You have the T1 packages available. You also want to make sure your in-house software is up to date. You're using the latest browsers so people don't have difficulty when searching for information. But as a media host, I would probably want to put content out there. So I would probably have myself set up a new social media front, maybe a YouTube channel, and put my shows online or information. Regardless if it's a newspaper, you could put articles online through a blog or whatever. Any type of media house, you could utilize the internet and social media as a tool to get stuff out there.
How do the basic websites actually, like Internet Explorer and Google and Google Chrome and all of these others, affect your ability to be able to download or view this information? How does it actually affect the ability to actually, you know what I mean, Doug? If you're actually going to use, let's say, Firefox, I'm using all the various internet browsers, how does it affect the ability to actually download faster or view faster? Because some people have difficulties.
Well, to be honest, if your internet is fast enough, the browser won't matter. It's all about your basic connection speed. But when it comes to browsers, Google Chrome is my preferred choice.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, didn't you?
It's by far the latest and the fastest. And then next step down from there, I would say Opera, then Mozilla. And I don't know anyone that uses Internet Explorer, but there's also Safari if you are really into that stuff. But definitely I would say Google Chrome is the fastest and the latest browser when it comes to using resources on your computer. So if you don't have a very fast PC, Google Chrome will work out fine for you.
Google Chrome, okay.
Yeah, I've used Google Chrome, but sad to say, I haven't used it professionally. I've used it for movies.
Don't have a clue. I mean, Steve, how do you get all this information, and how do you apply it? I mean, if you don't know, where do you start?
Well, Google is everyone's friend. I mean, it's just there. The most searched term on the internet is how to. There's nothing wrong going in Google and type how to. Before I do anything, I go see what the experts are doing. If it's something outside of my field, even if it's something that's like someone would bring a phone to me I've never seen before and they want it rooted or they want, I go type how to and then follow my search term. So essentially that is one way you could use, well, the only way, the best way to use Google to get stuff done. It could be something as simple as checking, you want to change something in your car. It could be something you want to look in, open your TV, your microwave start working. How to. You could utilize the technology in that way. And it applies in business as well too. You may have someone come in with something you may not have experience, and you just go take a look and see what's on the web. Now, the web should not be your only source, and when you search and you take multiple sources before you go take something as law, and you also make sure these sources are reliable. All right?
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. I think there's Matthew calling this morning. Good morning, Matthew.
Yeah, good morning.
What's on your mind, my friend?
Why is...
Matthew, please turn off your television and listen on the telephone. Go ahead.
Why is Google Chrome the best browser to use?
Oh, well, I can't necessarily say why. I don't know what awesomeness that Google has put in under the hood there. There's actually a section in there called Under the Hood. But it is the best in terms of performance. If you look at the benchmarks online, usually it's a close neck and neck between Opera and Chrome. It doesn't use much resources on your PC, meaning that it won't slow down your computer, and it just generally loads pages fast. I don't know what magic or what alien technology they have under the hood, but just on the surface from using it and from benchmarks around the internet, it is by far the best at the moment.
I think we have another caller. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning. Ooh.
I'm sorry.
Okay. What's your question?
Good morning, panel.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please. We seem to have lost that one. Let me ask you though, Steve. Apple is changing the way it's marketing iPad and dropping the 4G altogether and replacing it with the word cellular. Why?
Because what is debated the whole 4G debate. What is 4G? What is not 4G?
Oh, so it's just a gimmick and they're using to trick us.
It's not necessarily a gimmick. It's the same thing here where we have HDSPA Plus and people saying it's not 4G. They have the same thing over there with AT&T. They use the HDSPA Plus, and they call it 4G, but another network has LTE, and they say, well, ours is the true 4G because ours is faster. So you have that debate. So to avoid the debate, they just call it cellular versus 4G.
Yeah. Let's say good morning to Lana. Hi, Lana.
Hi, good morning. I am interested in buying the Samsung Galaxy S3. I'm just trying to get an input from our famous guy here in terms of if it is a good buy and what he thinks about it.
No, I'm going to say something that I would have probably said before, and will probably say it again within a couple months, but best phone ever. Right? Very fast phone, a lot of cool features. The screen is probably one of the only drawbacks on the device, but it's not something you're going to notice off the bat unless you're really looking at it with a magnifying glass. But Samsung has really come out with a powerful device. The applications, as with all Android phones, spread beyond just normal answering and taking calls. You have your business uses, your home uses, your taking your photos, whatever. But it is a great device, and I hope you get yours around the same time as me.
Wow. I understand that Samsung has actually almost dominated the market by now in terms of phone technology.
Yeah, because they do kind of make a lot of phones. I mean, they're the one company that's in every market. Low-end, high-end, mid-end. You name me type of phone, Samsung has one. Phone with keyboards, phones that slide, phones that flip. They make a lot of phones.
Mm-hmm. Listen, what about it's called the Doro Phone EC740. You know that one?
That's a lot of numbers.
Yeah. Well, it's the world's first Android smartphone for seniors.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that's the one with the really big buttons. Yeah, I saw that.
Don't look at me when you say that.
I saw that one was at CTIF. There are phones for seniors that already exist, but obviously it's the first one running the Android operating system. And you can stick Android on just about anything, from a wristwatch to fridges, their rearview mirrors or Android on it. But good to see they're still catering to the senior
they
market.
talk about it having large buttons, loud sounds, and large fonts, and a magnifier with a light.
I did see that phone, and I raised my eyebrow and moved on. Yeah. I was like,
How are we going to use our business technology today, let's say in a manufacturing plant, Steve?
Well, actually, it's interesting enough, and this is a technology I always bring up, which is QR codes. QR codes were developed initially for actually tagging parts and make it for easy maintenance. So you have a large machine that may have a lot of parts that may need to be properly maintained. You can't walk around with a sheet, large, manual looking at all the serial numbers and what's not. You just simply scan the code, and the code takes you to the manual reference, and you're able to maintain the equipment that way. And also for packaging, you can use the same codes on the parts or whatever it is you're shipping, even standard labels, to add additional information for actually on the back of the box of the Galaxy Note. There's a little QR code that you can scan. It gives you more information that you can get on a device that you won't, usually be able to fit on the little small box that they send you.
Wow.
They say that iPad is changing the world, particularly for people with disabilities. And they cite a case when the father of a 4-year-old the 4-year-old began using his iPad when he was 2 and was assessed to be 12 months behind and with language and cognition. And within 4 months, he was on par for his age. And 2 years since he's been using it, he's now 15 months ahead of his age group.
Well, that's a pretty good story. I mean, Apple has always focused on education. There are a lot of educational apps on the marketplace. They made a very large leap in that direction with the iBooks 2, where they allow you to have textbooks. These are textbooks ranging from high school straight to the university level. So whereas books are very expensive, and you can find books well over $100, you can get the books at, I think it was $14.99, and you can have your books on your iPad, and they're updated to suit. But usually they're games for children. There are a lot of learning games that you can find on the iPad, and the iPad is so easy, a 2-year-old can use it. So you should have problems.
That is true. I've seen it. I've seen it myself. My daughter does it.
You should have problems using the device. Definitely it's a good device to get for your kids. It's not the sturdiest of tablets. As you know, Apple likes a lot of premium design. You know, when you have an Apple device, it's very well built. So they actually have glass on there.
Right.
So if that drops it,
A different kettle of fish.
It's all over.
when you got Samsung, love the plastics. So you know, it could take a hit.
All right, Steve, in the last 30 seconds, app of the day,
Invoice to go.
Invoice to go.
Yeah, very great application for doing your invoices on the road. I use it all the time. It's good for sending invoices and keeping track of clients that owe you money. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Invoice
That's good to
go.
know.
All right, Steve Fung, thank you very much. Opening a whole new world of technology for us here on Morning Barbados on this Monday. We're going to take a break here and come back with more, so stay with us. And we're back on Morning Barbados for this Monday. Time to talk technology this morning. And let's say good morning to Steve Fung. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, good. Always good to see you. And it was a busy week for you. Facebook IPO, it kind of turned out to be a dud after all.
Yeah, kind of. There was a lot of speculation coming up to it. You'll find a lot of articles on it, which was strange, advising people to be wary of it, which, you know.
But it got a lot of PR. I mean, it was they were like expectant mothers or expectant fathers in a waiting room. You know, everybody was talking about the $100 billion figure and so on. Yeah. You know, and it just kind of fell flat. What do you think was the reason?
Well, they did a poll in the U.S. and it turns out 50% of Americans see Facebook to be just a fad. Facebook comes in a long line of social media sites or applications, as they like to call them, where there's a trend of failure. One rises and the other falls. So it's always the next new thing. You had Friendster, you had High Five, you had MySpace, and even Mark said himself when he first launched Facebook that there's a new MySpace. MySpace's fate was to be taken down by another service. So it may just be his fate. But regardless, they went public and they did raise a lot of money. So it just proves they're not far. They're going to be here to stay for a little while. And their new focus of going towards mobile, which they are failing horribly in terms of the applications, the renewed focus may actually keep them in the market because there's no real mobile social networking platform that's actually working properly right now. So they may dominate that market if they're going to it very heavily.
But right now they make all their money from advertising, and it's kind of an intangible product. I mean, everybody just tells you all of their business, and you put it up there, and so the advertisers say, okay, fine, we want to reach those people. It seems like a win-win situation for Facebook. Why would they even want to consider changing how they do what they do?
Well, essentially, they have to have more ways to keep users engaged. This is something that also falls on responsibility of businesses that want to be on Facebook that use the advertising from the free angle. But they have to keep users engaged in more ways, and if they can keep users engaged well on their mobile phones, half of Facebook users connect via mobile, be it the mobile website or the app. The mobile website is very good. The app is terrible for across the board. It's rated as one of the poorest social apps. So they're trying to improve on the mobile side to keep more engagement. So if they have a lot of users and they start losing them, then they lose their marketability, which is us. We are their product that they sell to the advertisers.
Interestingly enough, Facebook recently had one of the major car dealers actually remove themselves from the advertising within Facebook. And I've noticed that General Motors, correct? Yes, they've actually removed themselves from Facebook. And the question came up as to whether or not Facebook was offering the kind of product that would be suitable or appropriate for markets such as General Motors. What's your take on that in terms of the as you mentioned, marketability?
Well, me personally, I like to focus on the little guy. Right now, for the little guy, the small businesses, especially ones we have here, even the larger businesses here, which won't be as large as GM, there's still, it's still a very useful and very powerful tool. Your product is going to be very specific. Someone like GM, they're going to have a hard time pushing through there because their main market is, I guess, mainly the U.S. and Europe, where they ever push their vehicles. And they do have a lot of competition with other brands. So it may not just be a case of where they're advertising, it could be a case of the products and the targets and the methods they choose to advertise. Because there are many ways to go about the same task. They may just need to reevaluate their methods. But there was a while back, there was some complaints from a few large companies about the advertising prospects on Facebook. But they have made some changes, and well, I guess you haven't heard much about that until GM now.
Let me raise this question with you because, you know, I was watching cricket yesterday and they posed a question. I don't know what the question was, or how many balls Shibna right-hander Paul would have to face to make his 100. He was in his 90s. He just turned, he just scored 91. And they were asking people to weigh in. And they said, well, you know, go to our Facebook page. It seems to me that everybody is turned on to and tuned into technology these days in all forms or fashions. How can, say, a small businessman in Barbados use this kind of technology to benefit his business?
Well, there are many ways, and there are many technologies. Facebook is just one of them, and that falls under the category of social media. And just like you said, you can use it to engage and interact with your users, customers, your prospects, however you wish to, how they wish to label us. But usually as a tool for interaction. It brings a higher level of communication between, let's say, supply and demand. So you will actually be able to cater directly to your customers' needs when you know what they want and make yourself much more viable in the marketplace.
Let's say that I'm into agriculture.
Yeah.
And I am producing certain goods that I want to put out for sale. Again, how can we use the social media and or other technologies in order to boost my marketability?
Well, personally, agriculture will benefit heavily from, I guess I would call it a suite of applications that will help them, I guess, survey landscape, determine or at least track the crops they're growing in terms of even if they have an electronic system, they can time and control the watering and the injection of nutrients into the system from their mobile phone directly. And they can also
you can?
You can do that from a mobile phone?
You can do that from your mobile phone, yes. Your mobile phones today, this comparison will shake some people, but a BlackBerry today has 100 times the computing power of the computer that put man on the moon back then. So you understand that mobile phones are very powerful, but applications can be built to manage all of that from your phones. Connectivity via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi will allow for that.
Well, yeah, in theory. But
in actual practice, this has been done places in the world where these applications are running.
I guess what I want to ask is how practical would it be to apply some of these things in our context? I mean, in Barbados, a fisherman, for example, I mean, how would he use this technology and who would prepare him for this?
Well, I would like to prepare them for it. I'm actually planning on launching a center where I do training for practical uses of technologies for businesses and individuals. But fishermen will benefit definitely from GPS technologies. People are a bit skeptical of using their phones for GPS, especially if you're going to be on the seas. But when you look at it, people are launching phones into space, taking pictures, and finding them pinpoint exactly where it lands on the other side of the planet. Another thing also is a good example is Google has this really nice image search feature within their new application. You can actually take a picture of a fish, or you can find a fish or a shell or something, don't know what it is. They will search the internet for anything related to that picture and give you a match, and you'll be able to identify things. So that's two ways fishermen could use just simple mobile technologies.
Let's get back to the GPS. So I mean, a fisherman lost at sea.
Yeah.
Just
Once he's getting coverage, his GPS on his phone can at least tell him where he is. And he could get his bearings back from using GPS on his mobile phone.
only if Christopher Columbus.
Only if. Only if.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about other technology benefiting small business. What else can we be using?
Well, I personally like mobile stuff. The tablets are something that could definitely be pushed into the space. But aside from that, like for manufacturing, we have BMS coming up. I'm very interested in manufacturing. I think that we should be manufacturing a lot more products here and selling it to you out, be it physical or digital, be it apps, games, or even physical products that we make here. What a new technology, well, it's not really that new, but something I find very interesting is 3D printing. It's essentially where you can fabricate plastics, polymers, metals from a printer that can print just about anything. Once you design it in a 3D application, let's say Doug's phone, I could build the chassis for the phone or the housing, and the printer would print the housing. You could print clothespins, hangers, plates, bowls. People use it for action figures, for figurines.
There's such a printer?
Yeah, and there actually is a very affordable one that starts at $500 US. They actually now brought down the price. There's also the open source model that they give you the plans online and it allows you to build it yourself. And since 90% of the parts are plastic, you can print back the printer that you just built and just buy the motherboard and build another one. So they call it a self-replicating printer.
Wow.
It's a rep-wrap printer.
Rep-wrap printer.
Yeah.
Let's since you're such a fan of BMX, we've got the fashion house and the fashion design pavilion coming up, and we really want to know how can our upcoming designers use some of this modern technology in creating their designs and possibly actually putting it out for the public.
Well, an old method, but using new technologies, take pictures. Use your mobile phones. Update your Twitter, update your Tumblr, update your Facebook. People usually like what they can see. And if you have an event, even if you're live at the event, people aren't there, take pictures, you know?
Can we actually use modern technology like your tablet, or maybe, again, for a person who's not as savvy, can we actually use these types of technology to design, let's say, gowns or dresses, or draw them per se?
Definitely. Adobe has a full suite of applications on the phone and the tablet. There's also some free ones from Alias and Autodesk that allow you to draw. My Note has a stylus particularly meant for drawing, but there are capacitive styluses available for most tablets and smartphones, where you can actually draw, sketch on your tablet, save it, and you know, while you are on the go, you may be in the bus, it's actually much easier than holding a notepad because you have nothing to press on. You could just sketch on your phone.
Well, not only that, we have Axel Stewart, makeup artist extraordinaire, on this morning, and I was thinking that with all the technology today, he can actually take a photograph of someone, use different colors, different applications, and to show a potential client what they would look like if you use this on their face or her, you know, that kind of thing.
And that is essentially true, because you can manipulate photographs just as you would on the PC. The programs are very quite similar. You just need to have the right app for the job.
All right, we're also going to be talking furniture today at BMX. How can a furniture manufacturer benefit from technology?
Well, in terms of manufacturing, the same aspects of social media is a good way to get your stuff out there, a good way to start talking about your stuff, especially if you offer some unique designs or products. Anywhere along the lines from invoicing or to inventory keeping check, a wide variety of things. Technology, which is the thing we have to realize, is made to make our lives easier, right? And any task that you could think of, there's either something mechanical, electrical, bioelectrical to help us improve and make that task more efficient. I like to look at efficiency as intelligent laziness. So
don't work hard, work smart.
Correct, that's right. So basically, anywhere we can use our technology to improve or even reduce the workload upon ourselves, it works really well.
Self-replicating 3D printer.
Yes.
Boy, we're hearing it all. Steve Fung, always good to see you. Thanks for taking us into your little world, as always, on a Monday morning. We're going to take a break here and come back with more Morning Barbados, so stay with us.